Representing New Brunswick's beautiful Acadian Peninsula, Bathurst is a hotbed of men's softball leagues. The team is one of the original 10 from 1977, and has seen mixed results so far. The team struggled in their first 2 decades in the league, but that all changed with the arrival of Nino Savary and Tank Bourgeois in '99, as Bathurst became a force. The team won its only title in 2002, reaching the postseason 9 times in 11 years. Over the last few years, the team has been competitive, but has been a whisker away from the postseason in the ultra-competitive CL West Division. Can they finally break through and return to the postseason? Sitting between the mighty Restigouche River and Sugarloaf Mountain, the city of Campbellton is a prime spot for those who love the outdoors. Fishing, kayaking, hiking, snowmobiling, skiing, and, since 1999, baseball. The city is relatively small, so the team's original GM, Bobby Wells, decided to avoid free agency, and built the team through the draft. This resulted in some lean years, but since 2011, the team has packed a big punch, making the postseason for 11 consecutive seasons, and winning 3 ABL titles. Today, they are one of the elite clubs in the ABL, and locals have a fierce rivalry with the other 2 teams in northern New Brunswick, Edmundston and Bathurst. The city of Edmundston, situated in the northwest corner of New Brunswick, is famous primarily for its potato, forestry and paper industries. With the help of the McCain Potato Empire, the team joined the ABL in 2004. The team spent most of the 2000s building their team, drafting future stars such as Eli Vandermeer, Andy Gould and Dave Santerre. By 2018, the team became a contender, and has qualified for the playoffs every season since. In 2021, it all came together with the club's first ABL championship. Amazingly, the team is still very young, so there is still lots of fight left on this current team. New Brunswick's capital city has a long and proud baseball heritage that dates back to the early 1900s. When the ABL was formed in 1977, the Royals were one of the league's original teams. The club won the very first championship, then went through a decline through the 80s. By 1990, the new Royals, as they were known, arrived. With stars such as Travis Guerin, John Moore and Jan Flores, the team won 4 consecutive titles from 1991 to 94. In the 2000s, the team found it harder to compete. Despite a few flashes, the team has been firmly at the bottom of the division standings over the last decade. With youngsters such as Jason Benner and Ross Malden arriving, the tide might begin to turn. For much of the 20th century, the industrial city of St. John was the largest in New Brunswick. This was thanks to its large port, manufacturing sector, and the massive Irving oil refinery, the largest in the country. The blue-collar city of St. John has an ongoing rivalry with the white-collar capital city of Fredericton. The 2 teams traded championships when the league formed in the late 70s, and have been battling ever since. The team had a resurgence in the mid-2000s, but now sit just outside playoff contention. Can the Alpines stop the Campbellton, Edmundston juggernaut, and return to the postseason? Stay tuned to find out. Tucked away in the peaceful southwestern corner of New Brunswick, St. Stephen seems too small to have pro baseball. However, the area has been a hotbed of baseball since the early 1900s. During the 30s, the local St. Stephen Kiwanis team won 9 consecutive provincial titles, and even hosted an exhibition game against the Boston Braves in 1934. As soon as the ABL formed in 1977, the town's largest employer, Ganong Brothers, built a 2,200-seat park right on the waterfront, and formed the ownership group that finally brought the ABL to town in 1988. Admittedly, the team's finances have always been modest, but the team has consistently been able to put a quality team on the field, and Bluebirds fans are second to none for enthusiasm. The picturesque city of Charlottetown, capital of Prince Edward Island, has been in the ABL since it formed in 1977. During the 1980s, the PEI Lions, as they were known at the time, was one of the best teams in the ABL, winning 3 titles in 7 years. The 90s was a slump, but thanks to Summerside joining in 1999, the Lions finally got a rival team on the island, which boosted attendance. The early 2000s was a second golden age for the Lions. They won it all in 2004, but struggled to compete ever since. The team is now in a rebuild, and has a decent budget to work with. Can the Lions get back to winning ways, and break their 16-year playoff drought? The neighboring cities of Moncton and Dieppe have a unique relationship, based partly on culture and language. Moncton is majority English-speaking, Dieppe is majority French-speaking. When Moncton joined the ABL in 1984, it catered primarily to the English population. So, in the early 1990s, Dieppe began pushing for a team of their own across town. In 1995, they got their wish, gaining an instant cross-town rival in the process. The Aces managed to get to the finals in 1998, but haven't returned since, as they were limited by finances. Despite this, local residents are fiercely proud of their team, and over the last 10 years, the team began consistently making a profit, and is now trying to reach the postseason again. The small, quiet town of Miramichi looks fairly unassuming at first glance, but there is more than meets the eye when you dig deeper. The Miramichi River has been a world-class fishing location, mainly for salmon, for as long as there have been people living there. Other than fishing, the primary love for the residents has been their Ironmen baseball club. They existed as an amateur squad through the 20th century, and joined the ABL in 1977. Thanks to a huge, passionate fanbase and a cozy, historical park placed square in the middle of town, the team has been a pillar of the league, and won a record 7 championships. In 2021, the team is back in dominant shape, and will likely be the team to beat in the CL East Division. Nicknamed Hub City for its central location, as well as its railroad and transportation industry, Moncton has been an important economical center for the region since the mid-19th century. The team joined the ABL in 1984, and spent the 80s and 90s as a modest team with losing records. In 2003, the team began a domination streak that hadn't been seen before. Their 69-27 record in 2010 is the best record in Continental League history. Despite the success, the team has struggled through playoffs, and won their only championship in 2011. This year, the team will finally have young pitching prospect Greg Kruckenberg on the team, as exciting new young players come in. The scenic tourist town of Shediac has always been a go-to destination for those looking for relaxation, sun and sand. During summer months, the population balloons dramatically to make Shediac the 4th largest community in New Brunswick. The team was founded in 2004 by an ownership group comprised of the town's many camping grounds. Despite the relatively small population, tickets sell extremely well, especially with the camping pass and ballpark ticket deals that are available all across the area. The team has been relatively successful, appearing in their only ABL finals in 2016, even if they have found it difficult to qualify for the playoffs regularly. On the shores of the Northumberland Strait, and not far from the location that inspired the book, Anne of Green Gables, Summerside has been a popular tourist town for a long time. The team was formed in 1999 and spent their first decade struggling to compete. Therefore, like many other small market teams, they build through the draft. Players picked included the team's current third baseman Ryan Springborn, pitchers George Stott and Billy Cheney, and outfielders Rhett French and Craig Kessman. For 2022, they're expected to be the team to beat in the CL East, alongside Miramichi. Even though their pitching is only average, the team's overwhelming offense has made them a tough challenge for any club.